What is going on, people? It's Matt from Liquid Loans. Happy Friday to everyone. In this video, I'm joined by my partner in crime, Jesse the Pit Boss, and a very special guest. This guy is a content creator. He's a crypto veteran. He's the king of altcoins, the moon king of altcoins, the one, the only Mr. B Roots. What is going on, people?
How's it going, guys?
Good, good. Welcome to the stream. How you doing, man?
Doing great. Just taking some time to speak with the community, and taking time off of my altcoin search. I'm always looking for the next big thing.
Nice.
And I decided to take a break and talk with you guys.
Sweet. Well, for the people, I'm sure a lot of people in the chat know who you are. For the ones that don't, maybe we could get a quick bio and background about you, crypto, all that good stuff.
Yeah, I started in crypto in 2013. I bought my first Bitcoin. I want to say it was just under $300. Had $1,000 to my name. I was just a pretty broke person at the time, and it was $1,000. Bought my first Bitcoin. Lost money at the time. Went down. I didn't think anything of it. And then I made a couple. It's funny. I made a couple of Super Bowl bets with that. At the time, it was probably the worst bet I could have possibly made. The bet I'll never forget. It was whether it's going to be a touchdown on the first play of the game. I lost 2 Bitcoin off of that. So that was a very expensive bet that I lost. But I still had a good amount of Bitcoin left over that I purchased after that. Wrote it up to $20,000. Wrote it right back down, and I wanted to figure out what I did wrong. And in that time within crypto, that's when I really took it seriously. Learned to figure out how to play the game, because I noticed a lot of people were making a lot of money, and I wanted to be in that same boat. So during the bear market of 2017, 2018, I spent a countless amount of hours just learning and looking at charts and figuring out what I had to do to make it big. And when I say countless amount of hours, I would go to work, come back, and spend time on a computer just looking at charts, looking at meme coins, looking at altcoins, seeing what I did wrong, and I mastered the game. And I wouldn't go to sleep till about 2 or 3 in the morning just to wake up in the morning again and do it all over again. And I did that literally nonstop for 2 years. And that's pretty much my crypto story when it comes to.
You put your 10,000 hours in your mastery.
Easily.
Wow.
Yeah, I think your story is interesting, because in our community we talk a lot about trustless yield and like the importance of getting into projects that generate you some sort of fees or some sort of yield. And we don't do a whole lot of talking about the importance of price appreciation and charts and graphs. A lot of people get wrecked trading and trying to do what you do. So you bring an interesting perspective from somebody who's been able to do it successfully.
Yeah, it's like anything else in life. You have to put your time in. Yeah, there's going to be people that's going to get lucky. Absolutely. But those who actually put their time in, like you guys like to say, put your time in the market, not timing the market. Well, I look at it as putting my time in learning about the market. And that goes through anything I've done in my life since I was 16 years old. I'm a very coachable person. I'm competitive by nature. And if you tell me if I can't do something, I'm actually going to do it. That is just me. That's always been my nature. That's always been my life ever since from the beginning days. I'm a middle child. So that's kind of what's the thing. You have to prove yourself as a middle child. So I was always that type of person where, hey, I'm going to learn how to do this and I'm going to kill it when I do it. And that's how I took it. Like I wanted to make millions in crypto and finding the way to do it. So I didn't come about, like I've always watched Richard Hart, and I respect Richard to the fullest. I respect what he says when he says, put your time in the market, because in a way I do the exact same thing with meme coins. How I made my money in crypto is actually not pumping coins and dumping coins or buying coins and selling coins. It's actually holding. It's the exact same way. I've made my money through SHIB. SHIB is how I made money. I was one of the day one people in SHIB.
Wow.
So a lot of people don't know this about it, but SHIB went up, went down, and did nothing for months. And I bought the bottom of SHIB, even because I believed in that storyline. And then if you look at a chart of SHIB, you'll see a bunch of pumps and dumps. But at the same time, it was just creating higher lows and going higher and higher. If I didn't know how to trade, I would have never been able to hold SHIB from what it did. Absolutely no way.
That's why I wanted to bring you on, man, because a lot of people, they see it as like cut and dry, black and white, right? Either you're into memes or you're into DeFi. And I see you as like, you're like, no, obviously you're doing both. You've got a great video, which is like why 30% of your meme coins and profits should go into Hex. So I think that like, you're not just saying, well, I'm all in memes or I'm all in DeFi. You're making money with memes, right? And then you're putting it into DeFi. Is that correct?
Absolutely. I am actually, when you look at my profile, I am 95% of my portfolio is actually in Hex, Richard Heart sacrifices sets. And because I've done so well with another coin, MRI, that has propped up into my major portfolio. Not by choice. I didn't put that money into MRI. It started off small and made its way up into the portfolio. I always teach 5% of your portfolio should actually go into risky assets. And I take this from regular financial advice. You'll see a lot of people, by the way, this is not financial advice on my part, but you'll hear a lot of people say, hey, 3 to 5% of your assets should be in risky, and 3 to 5% of your portfolio should be in risky assets. So what a lot of people will say is stay your 401k, you're in the regular stock market, 5% can go into crypto. Well, I'm a little different in that perspective. Majority of my net worth is in crypto, but I take that mentality and I apply it to crypto. So yes, 95% of my portfolio is in Hex, PulseChain, soon to be, PulseX, soon to be, MRI. But I also have 5% of my portfolio in risky assets that I'm willing to try to make a ton of money on. Because once again, I've made my money through meme coins and altcoins, not Hex. So I do come from a different perspective. I put my money, all my SHIB gains actually went into Hex. A lot of people don't even realize this. I took a bunch out of the market, paid the house off, bought cars, bought a bunch of stuff with it. But I also said, okay, what am I going to do with this money? Okay, let me put it into Hex. I like what's going on with Hex. I like this whole PulseChain thing going on. This makes sense. I'm going to make it long term. But at the same time, I'm not going to change what made me this money. Like, why would I just stop and just like not do it anymore just because people think that, hey, that's not the way. I didn't get lucky because I'm doing it multiple times. I'm showing people how to do it. It's not a one-time thing. You can look at my portfolio and see all the coins that I've gotten from day one and what they did.
So for the pushback, sorry,
when you decided, early on that you wanted to get into SHIB, was it a calculated decision? Was it a gamble? Was it like, hey, look at this coin, it's gaining popularity, let me throw some money at it? Or did you have like some sort of strategy? Were you throwing money at a bunch of different dog coins at the time?
I'm very selective on how I actually get into coins. I call majority of people that, the Hexicans will call, pump and dumpers. I call them serial apers. What they do is strategic in how they approach it. So let's just say they have 10 ETH. They'll take 0.1 ETH and they'll put it on every project that they see that comes up onto DEX tools that pops up on the blockchain. They don't care what it is. They will put that money in there and all they have to do is hit 1. I don't necessarily do that just because you literally do have to be at the computer 24/7. Because when a coin pops up, it's going to go. So they do that. I am very selective. Now, how I actually check out a coin and figure out if I want to get in the coin, it's all about the storyline. Crypto is all about the storyline. What makes it go? This whole place is speculative. Everything from Hex to Bitcoin to MRI to SHIB, everything in the whole coin market cap, CoinGecko, is speculative. There's a reason why only 2% of the world is in crypto, because it's a very speculative asset of a bunch of techies who like to figure things out and try to invest in the future. It's who we are. That's what we do. But to me, there is a storyline that goes beyond that. So when it comes to SHIB, there was a storyline that was being created with Elon Musk and Dogecoin. So what I did was say, okay, this makes sense. I see where this is going. Elon is creating a story about Dogecoin and why he thinks Dogecoin is going to be better than Bitcoin, blah, 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 blah. There's always going to be copycats when that happens. You're starting to see it with PulseChain. You're going to see it with when Liquid Loans does well. You're going to see a bunch of copycats come in. You're seeing it with Hex. You saw the copycats with Hex. Well, what happened with Dogecoin? Well, there needs to be a copycat. There weren't any copycats at that time except for one. Its name was Shiba Inu. So what I did, I said, you know what? Let me put an ETH in this and let's see where this goes. So pumped up, and the storyline was the Dogecoin killer at the time. And I said, you know what? This has a click to it. And I have a feeling this can do very well. Now, fast forward to today, I didn't think it would be that well. Like what it did, it overtook Dogecoin's market cap at one point in time. So I didn't think it would go that crazy, but the way it grasped onto the community of meme coins, it was at a whole nother level that I never saw before. SHIB actually rugged not too long after that. A lot of people don't know this. It went down and it stood flatline for the longest time. But who also, this was during DeFi summer. So during DeFi summer, everybody was talking about DeFi. SHIB went up, did its little thing, just like, Hedron did and Hex did, it goes up and then, it has this hype cycle and then it comes down. But then it just died. It completely died. Like if you look at the chart, it just died. It flatlined. I actually bought more at that time because I really believed that Elon Musk was not done with Dogecoin. And obviously he wasn't. So then he comes back around and starts tweeting about Dogecoin again. And what happens? SHIB comes back. Then he does a picture of the Dogecoin character, and Dogecoin doesn't pump. SHIB pumps. Right then and there, I was like, we're on to something. So not only that I bought the bottom, now this thing is pumping to the storyline that I thought from day one that was going to take off, and it's taking off. So it did a pump, and I will never forget. I was walking my daughter to the park, and I look at my phone, and my SHIB was worth $40,000 from a pump. And I look at my phone, and I go, oh man, I got to get back home. So I got my wife and my daughter there, and I'm like, okay, we need to get back home. And she's like, what's going on? I go, my coin that like I didn't think really was going, like I didn't think it'd be worth $40,000 right now, so we need to go back. So she's like, all right, so we rush back home. It's now worth about $15,000. So just like then, boom, cut in half. And I said, you know what? I could cash out right now, or I can just hold this thing. And then it went to $10,000. And then I said, ooh, this run could be over. Just like every single person thinks about. Every meme coin, it pumps and it's over. And I said, no, because nothing has changed, and Elon is going to do what Elon's going to do. He will talk about Dogecoin again, and SHIB will pump because of it, just like it has the last 2 times. So what do you know? Elon Musk talks about Dogecoin again. SHIB keeps pumping and getting crazier and crazier and crazier. This whole time, I'm creating videos, which people will say I shill, which I'm a shiller. We're all shillers. We tell the next person about Hex. Guess what? We have a bag of Hex. So you're going to shill. You're going to fill before you shill. That's what I call it. Fill before you shill. So I'm going to shill out and I'm going to market SHIB. So I was kind of looked at as the guy that was helping people hold SHIB and not sell it so soon. And I was making these videos, which people call me lieutenant at the time. I was making these I was kind of like the soldier leader of the SHIB army. And I was making these videos and these promos about telling people how you should hold in crypto. And that's how you're going to make it. That's how it's done. And a big collection of people were just holding and not selling. And as these pumps kept going, there wasn't lower lows because people were just holding. And then people turned, and I lie to you not, you can see people will, I've got a following that's just die hard. It's kind of like the Richard Hart effect. Richard Hart made a bunch of people money by just holding. And there's people, I made a tweet one time and I said, put $150 in and it could change your life. And just hold. If you can risk $150, just hold. And in that time, though, those people that put that $150 in they made hundreds of thousands of dollars. Changed their lives. People that went and ate more money, they made millions. Now I obviously ate more than a lot more than $150. But I believed in the storyline. I believed that, hey, this thing can keep pumping. And then all the training that I did just led up to that moment, and it just hit. It hit. And then I seriously, that meme coin season of that time, I applied that thought process to multiple coins, and I've realized that, hey, I have something, and now I'm building this community of people that are willing to hold and learn these storylines and how to get things going. So it's actually the same philosophy as Hex. It's just riskier.
So to reiterate your process, you find a good meme coin which you think has a good storyline, you invest, you make multiple X's, and then you take that and you put that into like safe DeFi projects like Hex, yes, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You have to do that, because what happens is meme coins do not go up and stay up forever. And you have to realize this. Everyone says, oh, you just pump and dump. Well, that's pretty much what trading is. You buy low, you sell high. That's the name of the game. Even with Hex, you buy low and you sell high. Now, yes, you do make yield. And as you get to a certain point, I would assume that you're going to sell at some point in time. And someone that you're selling, there's going to be someone coming in below you and buying. It is literally it's really truly nothing different. It's a market. And what markets is a bunch of buyers and a bunch of sellers. There's going to come a point in time where there's going to be more sellers than buyers. And you either want to be staked for the long term, or you can trade it if you know how to trade it. Now, most people do get wrecked trading because they're not willing to take the time to learn it. And that's the difference between something like Hex and something like a meme coin.
Gotcha. So what gets you more excited, meme coins or DeFi, or making multiple X's to put into DeFi?
Making money, period. Like this game is about, for me, is making money. Yeah. And also just affiliating yourself with successful people that have the same mindset is what I like to do. So meme coins is fun to me, and I'll be straight up. Hex is boring as ever. It's boring. To me, Hex is boring. It's a boring coin. I'll sit there and I'll just like kick rocks just watching it. So that 5% of my portfolio is fun for me. But at the same time, it makes a lot of money too, if you play it right. Putting that money into Hex lets me realize that, hey, there's a long-term philosophy to this whole game, which is speculation too at the same. Like, to me, it's still speculation. I still believe that Hex is still speculative. But it's a more safe speculation than meme coins. I'm not going to put my hard-earned money into Shiba Swap and stake my SHIB coin and hope that it keeps going up. I don't even know who the lead person is in SHIB. So I have a face with Hex. So I've got Richard Hart, who's more proven. So am I going to put my safe money into something that's more proven and speculative at the same time, but more proven than this other meme coin that does the exact same thing, that makes the exact same percentage, but I have no idea who that person is on the other side of the screen. So yeah, I just need to make money. If I make money, I'm happy.
So when you learned what we were doing, creating a way where people never had to sell, right? With the idea that, well, if you get enough people doing that, now the price just goes up and you only have buyers.
Yes.
Of course, there's always going to be sellers, but what are your thoughts on that and applying that like we've done with what's probably going to be a very good coin to do it with, Pulse coin?
Yeah, I to me, I love it. And the reason for it is I can still hold something knowing that potentially it's going to be there at a later date. So taking out a loan for something, to be honest with you, and when I approached you about it, I am not a loan person. I was always, and I've spoke this publicly, I was always about paying off all loans because I'm not a fan of banks. I kind of know what they do, and it's not meant for somebody to move up in life, the typical banking system.
Mm-hmm.
So when I see something like liquid loans, originally I was very kind of like, I don't know, like this whole banking thing, loans, I could get wrecked. I could just lose all my pulse, and that would really suck. But as I listen to you speak more about it, and we've had meetings one-on-one, and to explain that, hey, you just can't be as risky of the loan that you take out, and you got to back it. If you back it with collateral to the point where the price doesn't go down 85, 95% in days like a meme coin does, you can take out money and still hold your possession of the amount of coins you have. So to me, I'm like, I like that. Like it makes complete sense, because that's different from a typical banking system. I need to put collateral down more than, I can lose everything in the real like the housing market. They're going to give me a loan more than I can afford for the most part. And if I can't pay off that loan, I lose my house and I lose all my credit. Mm-hmm. Well, now it's say, hey, back up with what you already have, take out a loan, get your money back, and do whatever you want to do, but still hold on to your coin. Like to me, it's genius to me. So I love it.
I saw you talking in one of your videos. You were quite excited about the haunted strategy. Is that something that you might use when liquid loans comes out?
Yes, I'll probably do it with a section of my. I'm not going to obviously do it with my full portfolio. No, and I have a feeling there will be people that will do that because greed takes over a lot of people. But a section of my portfolio, I do think that is a good idea, and it makes Pulse, and this is going to get controversial here. It makes Pulse better than PulseX, in my opinion.
I saw your video on that as well. That was a good video.
Yes, it really. If you add that liquid loan strategy, it puts the tokenomics of PulseX almost to shame. But it's not part of the system, so it's a complete opposite system that you need to learn and master. And then once you get to that point, I mean, that could do wonders for PulseChain. especially if a lot of people are on the same page.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I think you said in the video or one of your videos, I saw you talking about liquid loans where it's kind of like you're getting 25% of fees burned already.
Mm-hmm.
And then by using liquid loans, it's kind of like another fee burning mechanism on top of that. So it is exciting. Would you take I mean, obviously cross that bridge when you come to it, but would you take money from liquid loans and maybe put it in other investments, other meme coins or other DeFi protocols or?
My situation is going to be a little different. Now I'm in my 30s. I'm young. As far as when it comes to investments, like I'm retired in my 30s. But I do want to get into real estate, which there's actually a strategy for real estate with the Honda strategy. So like that's another crazy thing that I'm really going to nail down. But I do want to get into real estate. I'm still going to take a percentage of what my pulse chain is, and I do see myself putting that into Hex for more long term. And then I will likely be taking loans out and just doing what I want to do outside of crypto. And I think that's going to be my strategy right of now, is get more into real estate. I want, I joke about it on Twitter. I say beaches and exotics. Like I truly want houses on the beach. Like I want real estate on the beach. And the main reason I want it specifically on the beach is, number one, land in itself, the land is not being created. But at the same time, there's only so much land that's on a beach. So when you add those things, bodies of water and how much land is on bodies of water, I really want to increase that part of my portfolio and introduce that into my own financial portfolio. And I think PulseChain is going to allow me to do that. Hex is going to allow me to do that. Meme coins can allow me to get there faster, but I do realize over the long-term period what actually is going to get me there when it comes to crypto. And that's the main thing, is I do want to scale out of crypto a little bit, because when I say majority of my net worth is in crypto, it is majority in crypto. Like I am like pretty much, when people say, hey, can I borrow $50,000? I'm going to be like, well, here's some ETH. It's not in the bank. Here's some.
So you want to diversify a bit?
Yeah, I do want to diversify a bit. I do want to get into real estate, but that's all going to be done with crypto and through crypto, and keeping that going. And something like liquid loans is going to allow me to keep doing that over the long period of time. And I'll be able to hand that over to my kids and teach them what I didn't know as a kid. I had to learn all this stuff just going on YouTube, talking to people on Telegram, and just putting the time in. But now I want to teach that to my kids, and they're going to grow up knowing this stuff. And I think that's going to be the same about, you guys and the people out there. You're going to need to teach them, your kids, this thing, and then that's how crypto takes over the world. Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, me and Jesse were talking about this yesterday, actually, and how early we are, right? Because by the time your kids are grown up, right, I'm sure everyone's going to be using crypto, and everyone's going to know what it is. And at the moment, only a fraction of the population know what Bitcoin is, never mind what DeFi, borrowing and lending protocols are going on, and how to use all these things like Hex and staking and everything like that. So, I think it's a good idea to diversify, and like you said, have some in crypto, some in real estate, and other things for generational wealth, right? Because you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, we're so early, man. Like the government doesn't even know how to make laws, and you listen to them talk when they're in their meetings, and you're just like, man, we're way too early. These people have no idea. Like they're trying to make laws on proof of stake versus proof of work, and they couldn't even give you the definition of it. And it's just like we're light years ahead of these people. Yeah. And then even if they do outlaw it, here's the funny thing: even if they outlaw it, it's going to take them forever to outlaw it. And by the time PulseChain, Hex could be at $50, PulseChain could be $3 per PulseChain, and we're just killing it. And then they outlaw it and be like, well, see ya. Like, we already won 10 years later.
Yeah.
So.
What do you think? I mean, obviously there's been news on testnet 2.5b or whatever it is. Do you think we're close to PulseChain? It's around the corner, a few months?
I'm projecting, I would project anywhere from June to July is what I think. I'm with you guys are, the Chad Hexicans already know that me and Chad Jenkins talk a lot. We have very, very similar thought process. And I saw that he was on, a few days ago, and he's right. Me and him are right on the same par. I think he's timing the market. Yeah. Everything lines up to it. I've been arguing it since probably about September, October, when I realized what the market was doing. And I think that's what he's waiting for. However, I do think the community is getting a little antsy, and that might play a role on whether we time the market or not, because people are getting vocal. I even said it, I saw one of the whales, I won't mention names, but I saw one of the whales speak out. And I'm like, man, like, people are really getting antsy in the community. And I have a feeling it has to deal with PulseChain. And the reason why it has to do with PulseChain, because the only reason Hex has been pumping in the last year is because of PulseChain. So everything's geared towards PulseChain for this launch. It needs to come out. I believe it needs to come out like ASAP. Like, if it can be launched today, Richard, launch it today. Like, we're at that point where I think people are getting way too just like antsy. They're getting vocal. The drama is at all-time highs. I've never seen it at all-time high. When whales are participating in drama, I'm like, hey, we need to go. We need to go ASAP. So I'm hoping that, we get these test nets, everything goes well. And I would say May, June release date.
Yeah, there's some boredom out there, and people don't know what to do with their time because they're just so busy waiting that it causes drama. It causes sell pressure for Hex, as people are like, oh, I thought this thing was going to come out so I can play with my free copies. And
that's the funny thing about this whole thing, and I tweeted it today, is this community that Richard Hart created. Once again, we're about to get controversial here. That Richard Hart created is not built for something like this. They don't know how it feels to see a long 85% drop. So if you got into Hex, you felt the bear market a little bit. However, you got your money into a coin during the bear market that was in the beginning and started to go up. This is the first time that they're witnessing a long, drawn out bear market with their money. And when I say that is, Hex usually drops and then it just gets bought right back up. We saw that with the PulseChain sacrifice. Went up to 20 cents and then dropped to 7 cents. There was some drama in that little time span, but it got bought right up. And then no one really felt the pain, the true pain like this. True pain is when you're up and you just start seeing millions, hundreds of thousands, most of your portfolio go down, and a slow bleed. That's true pain. I still don't think we've witnessed true pain yet. Even at 10 cents, 11 cents, we haven't witnessed it. Majority of these people don't even know what capitulation feels like. You see Hex at 2 cents, you'll feel it.
So, did you see the poll that was posted in the vault?
I did not.
it says, in regards to Hex, are you in profit with Hex or in a loss with Hex? And this is controversial, right? But all coins have to have more buyers than sellers, right? Regardless of the yield it generates or the staking or anything else, you have to have more buyers than sellers. And Hex is certainly in a bear right now. 695 people have voted so far, and 54% are in profit and 46% are in a loss.
And that's in the
And
vault.
these are numbers that you don't, that's almost 50-50. These are numbers that like nobody talks about.
No.
Mhm.
I think it's more than that. It's a lot more than that.
So B-Roots, do you think we're in a full bear market or just a Hex bear market?
I think we are in a Hex bear market. We are actually in a crypto sideways market. I think what happened is COVID sped everything up in regards to the typical bull market of Bitcoin and crypto. There's a certain amount of coins that gets mined into existence, and COVID sped that up. Now I think what we're doing is we're slowing it down, catching it back up. There's more coins coming into the market, and then we're going to go back into our cycle. But we went up so fast and so quick that it threw everybody off by surprise. And I think what we're doing now is we're kind of catching up. And for us, it feels like, man, it's been going on for a long time. It has. It's been going on for a year. It's what Bitcoin topped out in April last year?
It was May, I think. Was it April or May? May 21.
So we're almost there for a year. But we still have another 2 years left in the cycle. So when you look at that perspective, like, are we going to have a 2-year bear market, a 3-year bear market? Like, I just don't see that happening. I just think everything was sped up by COVID, and therefore that's what we're witnessing right now. So yes, we went up really fast, and what's happening is people are just getting bored. It's the worst thing that you can possibly do. The worst thing for a trader is not up, it's not down, it's actually a sideways market, because all your bulls are going to get wrecked. But guess what? All your bears are going to get wrecked too, because they're overly bearish. Another person's overly bullish. They're adding leverage trading on top of that. But guess what? This thing's just moving sideways. That's all it's doing. It's moving from $30,000 to $60,000 over the portion of a year. That's all it's doing. Until it breaks one way or the other, we're not in a bear market. We're just sitting sideways.
So you'd say launching in a bear, like it appears is going to happen with PulseChain, is probably the smartest thing you could do for fast price appreciation. Because you've got all these people who are bored elsewhere. They don't know what to do with their money. They're either exiting or looking for new shiny things to put their money into. And it should cause a lot of money to flow into PulseChain. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Bear markets is the best thing to happen in crypto. I do not think Hex would have done as well if it was during a bull market. I just do not believe it. It's happened with Ethereum. Any successful layer 1 outside of EOS has killed it launching in a bear market. And like you said, the reason is you're going to have your huge pump, and so it's going to just die off, and then you're going to have accumulation period. And that accumulation period allows crypto to just go at a parabolic amount during a bull period. If we launch in a bull market, we launch in June, and Bitcoin goes to $70,000. Everybody who is not experienced in crypto is going to say, let's launch PulseChain now. Let's launch PulseChain now. Let's go. Everything's bullish. Okay. What if it tops out 3 months from then? Tops out, let's just say $150,000, $200,000. Tops out. PulseChain launches. boom, just goes up. Whoa, everything's bullish. Everything's great. 3 months later, it looked like a meme coin that everyone hates about, because what happens when bear markets happen? Everyone flees from the market like a light just hit cockroaches. And what happens to the pulse chain chart? That's what market that's what Richard Hart likes to do. Like just everything just dies and just like woo. That's what's going to happen to pulse chain if it launches during the height of a bull market. So during a bear market, you accumulate, you let it go, you hype it up. All these projects become on pulse chain, and now that people are building. The time to build is during bear markets or slow periods. What you're doing right now, you're building your liquid loans. People are building Mintra, they're building Hedron, they're building all these products on pulse chain. You're not going to get that build during a bull market. You just don't. You're not going to get quality during a bull market because everyone's just trying to get that quick buck. Everyone's just trying to get that real fast money. You're not going to get quality projects during a bull market. Name me one quality layer 1 project that has come out during a bull market and survived a bear market. Good luck. Good luck. You're not going to find one.
So you think we're a year in and we've got another couple of years maybe, or, you know?
I hope, like I say, we need to get it out now. If we're going to get it out, it needs to come out during this sideways market. Because in my opinion, a sideways market is just as good as a bear market. I personally would have liked to see this come out in August. Because when you know, hindsight's 2020, but we've been going sideways since August, September. The market really hasn't been doing anything in that time. That still acts, in my personal opinion, as like a bear market because nothing's really happening. So if we launched in August and September, we would have had nice long accumulation, maybe slowly up. Keep going the wrong way because it's on camera. To a nice, steady rise in pulse chain, and then when the bull market kicks back in, boom, it really hits hard. But if we go into a bear market, guess what? Nothing changes. We remain in our accumulation pattern. The projects keep building, and that makes pulse chain even stronger. Now our backs are against the wall. If Bitcoin goes up from here, it's 50-50. Are we in the like what we're doing now is what we're trying to figure out now is the exact same thing as a leverage trader. Are we in a bull market? Are we in a bear market? What do we do? Like, we don't know what to do. So if we just launch a long time ago, we've been good. But it's I just, the longer we wait and we go into a bull market, I do not think it'll be healthy. Now, I still think the project's good enough for it to survive. But as far as like price chart, how people feel, the sentiment, you don't never want to get rid of the sentiment. And the sentiment, if the sentiment goes up and it just crashes, people then automatically feel as it was a failure. And it doesn't mean it was a failure, but their sentiment, their mindset, the market would feel that it's a failure.
So what's going to be your play when Pulse Chain goes live?
I'm not doing anything with my Pulse Chain, man. It's at the time, it's going to be first sit and watch fireworks. Because I believe there is a massive amount of people sitting on the sidelines waiting to get into Pulse Chain. Look at the amount of wallets in Pulse Chain versus the amount of wallets in PulseX. That number right there tells you that there's going to be a lot of people that's going to come in and just ape in the Pulse Chain from the get-go. I believe a lot of PulseX people are going to go into Pulse Chain from the get-go. I also believe that all these people that missed the PulseX sacrifice are waiting for that bridge to go into Pulse Chain. So it is going to be extremely volatile from the beginning. I do not want to participate in that unless it gets so high to where I'm like, man, I'd be stupid not to take profits. Because there needs to be, when that happens, there needs to be an accumulation period. There will be a dump off because there's going to be a lot of people in profits. There's a lot of speculators that came in the PulseChain. You know, you've got your bit boys that said that, hey, I invested in PulseChain. There's a lot of outsiders of hexagons that are getting in, and they will take profit. 100% will take profit. I'm guessing liquid loans won't come out right away. I don't think it would be smart to come out right away because people are just going to get wrecked because the price volatility is going to be ridiculous. So if you get something that goes up and instantly turns people a 50, 75x, there's going to be a massive dump. And if you're going to try to time that market, you're crazy. You're absolutely crazy to try to time that market. So what I want to see is a nice little accumulation period. Let's find the bottom. And then that's when you're going to see the floor price come in, and then you're going to see fireworks happen.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to launch, like you said, right straight away because there's going to be so much volatility. So a month or so after, we want things obviously to calm down and like you said, let the market find a bit of stability before people start taking loans against their Pulse. What else are you excited about on PulseChain? Because obviously there's liquid loans, there's lots of other things going on. Or are you just excited to watch the Pulse chart?
I'm excited just to see how the market handles PulseChain. And not just the market as far as like the PulseChain market, the outside market. Will it be gate kept? You know, I want to see how that works. I also want to see, here's something that no one talks about. I want to see what these exchanges do. Will that be reason for being gate kept? Are exchanges going to be so pissed off at Richard Heart and PulseChain that they brought all this drama? Talking about drama, just imagine the amount of drama of those who've got hundreds of thousands of dollars in altcoins and Ethereum, and they don't get their PulseChain, they don't get their copies. That right there is drama. That's going to be newsworthy right there. Are they going to look down upon PulseChain because of that? Because you created drama to a business that didn't ask for it? Or are they going to give to everyone? Are they going to accept it and give it to everybody? That's probably one of the most things that no one talks about that I'm actually looking forward to see. Because that's going to tell you whether or not PulseChain gets gate kept or PulseChain is accepted, in my opinion. Go ahead.
So what's your opinion about diehard communities like the SHIB Army? And we can imagine if the same thing happened to the Hex community, where some random person made a blockchain and said, hey, you get a free copy of your Hex over here. And then everyone's like, what are you talking about? Like, we follow Richard Hart. What do you mean I have free Hex over there? Right? So, like, what do you think they're thinking about? If they don't know about it yet, when they do learn about it, what do you think is going through their mind?
I think it could start a revolution of people that are just pissed off at exchanges. And that's what I mean. Like this could really like change the game in ways that people aren't even thinking about. Like when I listen to Richard Hart speak, like in my mind, I'm actually like I believe in myself as being like a ultimate game theorist also, because that's the way I think. I look for those storylines. I look for like what can be different than something else. And when I think of the amount of people that could be pissed off to see their P-SHIB be worth this much money and they're not able to get it, like that could start almost like just people just, when you get too many pissed off people, that's newsworthy. And that could be good. Yeah, I don't think it'd be bad for Pulse. But
do you think that there will be a parabolic flow of people? So at first, people are going to start learning about their free copies.
Yeah.
And at some point, once an exchange announces it, or once a huge community such as SHIB all say, whoa, we all realize we have free copies. At some point, there's going to be a huge parabolic flow of everybody on ETH being aware that there's free copies and all of them flowing in.
But what happens if most SHIB holders are holding it on exchanges? They're not going to get it.
That's correct. But how long do you think it'll take for everybody on ETH or on exchanges to become aware of their free copies?
That depends when we launch, in my opinion. If we go ahead, like I said, I don't agree with it, but if we go ahead and we launch, say we launch tomorrow, and Bitcoin goes over 70,000 and all crypto is just going up, that parabolicness is going to be absolutely ridiculous. It's going to be mind-bending. It's just going to be just crazy. Those people that are flowing in, man, when I say hundreds of X's easily, just in it could just create a candle that's just ridiculous. it's when you think about it, and you're just like, man, that's a lot of value coming into PulseChain. It's stupid. Now
we're talking about hundreds of thousands of wallet addresses.
Now, on the flip side, if we're in a bear market, majority of people in crypto flee. So you won't get that huge, crazy, ridiculous candle. You'll get a good candle, but it won't be the same because people leave crypto. You can see that happening on the followers I get on Twitter. You can see it happen on your YouTube channel. You just see it in general. You'll just see people just start leaving and not caring as much. So they leave. So we're not going to get that huge, massive candle that we would get if we were in a bull market. But when they all come back, that's the thing. They all will come back because crypto at one point in time will come back up again. And when they do, it might be a delayed astronomical candle. And there would be nothing better, in my opinion, delegating my pulse and waiting for that return of the crypto crowd during bull markets. So as far as gains go, once again, it's better to go into a bear market or a sideways period, accumulate, delegate, and then when it's time to go, your gains are even bigger.
We got a question here from Hexicat. He says, what's B-Root's first day average price of Pulse?
I think it can go anywhere from a 25 to 50x. This is a broad range here. At highest, I would say 50x right off the bat. If we're in a sideways to a bear market, and then I think we accumulate at a 10x.
So it goes.
So I can see us going, a 10x, 5x, 10x, 5x, 10x, 5x. Just a nice little wave. It could be anywhere from 6 months to a year, and just accumulate. You're going to find your bottom, and then you're going to realize that hey, the market's ready to go up. That's actually what Ethereum did, but Ethereum went up, and then the accumulation period, or not Ethereum, but Ethereum accumulated at a 10x. So you're accumulating, and then you go up. I think we do that. The reason for it is I dare you to try to bring the price down to the sacrifice amount, because I'll back the truck up. So, and I think many people are going to be on that same page. So I think they would probably, beat me to it. So it's I don't think we go below with PulseChain, below our sacrifice amount ever. I do think differently about PulseX because the amount of people that are going to go from PulseX to PulseChain. There's a lot of people that miss. I've spent a lot of times in the chats. I speak a lot of the admins in the chats, and every single day there are more and more and more and more people coming in saying, how do I get PulseChain? The people that got into PulseX, a lot of them missed PulseChain sacrifice. But at the same time, a lot of people didn't go as hard as in PulseChain as they probably would have. So what do? They go into PulseX, and that gives them an opportunity to get a better, and they're not going to get like-to-like rate. You're not getting a 1-to-1 ratio. I'm telling you that right now. It's not happening. No one's selling their PulseChain for PulseX 1-to-1. It's not happening. But I do believe if you can get PulseChain at a 10x or lower, you absolutely will do that if you have no PulseChain or if you don't have as much PulseChain as you want.
What do you think about the people in the chats that are either all MoonBoys and they all they can talk about is we're gonna hit a 250x right away, you know, or 500x. I can't wait to hit a 10,000x. Richard's gonna make that happen for me, right? And this is all they talk about. Or the same people that say they just can't wait to sell. They can't wait to dump their bags, and that's all they talk about. Now, in other communities, such as early on with Sheeb, or I was never involved with SHIB, but I was involved in a lot of other tokens, and I still am. You don't hear the same sentiment, right? When something comes out early, it just kind of like chirps, like nothing's going on initially until you've got the people who've got in early, they fill and chill, and then that's when everybody starts piling in. But here it's almost reverse of that. You've got a bunch of people who got in early, but it's not the same chirps and silence that you see in other coins. It's a whole bunch of just moon talk. Usually when you hear moon talk, the opposite thing happens.
Here's the issue. It's actually not an issue. It's a good thing. It's Richard Hart. Richard Hart is one hell of a marketer and a shiller. He's good at what he does. And he's very believable. And with Hex, he proved what he said would happen when people didn't believe it. So what happens is when the next one comes out, people believe in what he said now. So now they're like, oh, we're going to get a 10,000x because Hex did it. And he's on film saying that, yes, PulseChain can do a 10,000x. So when you hear that enough times, and this comes from marketing, this comes from shilling, this is what I do on Twitter. It is what it is. And I said it in a tweet yesterday. I said, me and Richard Hart are very alike in what we do. And the funniest thing is what does everyone respond with? You're not a billionaire. You're nowhere near. You don't build projects. I was like, you did not hear anything what I just said. And that's what I mean. You get these just numb people who don't see what's actually being presented to them and showing them. So when I say he's a great shiller, he's a great marketer, it's what I do. We do the same thing. That's what he does perfect. And he is able, there's a reason why he's got $1 billion in sacrifice sets. It's not because of the project, it's because he markets and he shills it very good. And he's great at what he does when he shills it. So when you created this storyline, once again, storyline, he creates this storyline of the green version of Ethereum. That's marketing. That's all that is marketing. The better Bitcoin, where you can make yield instead of the miners making yield. There's some truth to that, but guess what? That's marketing. And what happens when you market over and over and over and have the same message over and over and over again? People believe it. So in college, I always learned that, in business school, what's brand marketing? If I told you, what does the Nike sign look like? You would be able to tell me right away, that's the Nike sign. If I told you what does the Disney, what's the picture of Disney World? What shows up? A castle with a nice little rainbow that goes over. I recognize that. If I were to tell you, the Super Bowl ad, what was one of the best Super Bowl ads? The Budweiser frogs. What did they say? Budweiser. We saw that multiple Super Bowls saying the same thing, and your mind goes right to it. That's what Richard Hart does. He markets his product very well. He shills it very well. And then when general public sees it and hears it over and over and over, they actually believe that they can do a 10,000x. So it's to me, it's genius marketing. And it's not a bad thing that people believe it. They just don't see it. They don't even realize that he's just marketing to you. And it's not, like I said, it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing because people are going to come in the space and he's going to do the exact same thing. That's why people get upset with him when he's using Louis Vuitton stuff. It's just marketing to the younger crowd. That's the crowd that's going to be next in crypto. They're going to have the most money 5 to 10 years from now because those 20-year-olds are going to have jobs and they're going to be 30 looking to get into crypto. And who are you marketing to? That younger crowd that's going to have money that will be able to take us up another notch higher when the time comes for next cycles. That's all he's doing.
So you think at the moment he's just setting up for years to come, obviously building this, and then people who come in later are going to, see his videos, his outreach from the hexagons, and it just kind of compounds onto a bigger marketing machine. Okay,
great. You're creating a base. You're creating a base. So that's a lot of people. Most people in their upper 30s, 40s, 50s are just annoyed. You could tell who cares, who loves the Rolex watches and the Louis Vuitton shirts and the Louis Vuitton bags, and then you can see the people that gets annoyed by it. It's funny because it's just an age bracket. That's all it is. It's just an age bracket of people that are just get so bent out of shape about that. But then you flip it around, and then you see the people who are getting all upset about price and upfront. It's the younger crowd who never saw their net worth just drop down so fast over a long period of time in the 8 months. They're the ones barking the most on Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, you go on Twitter for 5 minutes, and you'll see that obviously at the moment we probably are in some sort of bear market because lots of arguing, lots of infighting. I see a lot of pushback from you. And again, like I said to Jenkins, of course, everyone's going to have a difference of opinion about things. But if you listen to what you're saying, you're not saying that you're in meme coins 100%. In fact, 5% of your portfolio, you said, is for your risky business. And that goes back into solid DeFi projects like Hex and like other stuff that's coming up on PulseChain. Listen, dude, this has been great. Thanks so much for your time to come onto the channel. Where can people find out more about you?
Yeah, you can anywhere B Roots. I am B Roots on YouTube and Twitter. I just recommend I am the old version of Richard Hart. The version that just tells it how it is. I've been in this market for a long time. I understand the market. I'm not always right about the market, but a lot of times if you just listen and not be so bent out of shape, you'll learn a lot. So I am B Roots on Twitter, same thing on YouTube. If you want to learn how to trade these meme coins, once again, it's not financial advice, but there's a way to do it safely, and there's a way to just burn all of your money. And if you go blindly, you're going to burn all of your money, most likely than not. So I have videos that will teach you the best way to do it. And when you do hit, there's a way to, scale out also. So I teach that on YouTube, and, you're not going to see me I'm not a maxi. I will never be a maxi. So learn from it, shape your own ideas, and prepare for some crazy videos.
Awesome, man. Thanks a lot for your time. Keep doing you, and you have to come back on the channel at some point.
Absolutely, man. Can't wait. Can't wait for PulseChain. Can't wait for liquid loans. Appreciate
Exactly.
it. Thank you.
Exactly. Thanks, Jesse.
Thanks for coming on.
Later, man.
See you.
Guys, we got 2 Galaxy Brains there. You've got Jesse the Pit Boss. I am B Roots, dropping the alpha on you. Guys, if you like videos like this, do hit that subscribe button and that bell icon so you're notified every time we drop new videos and content for the channel. Also, don't forget the liquid loan sacrifice phase. We're into the final 2 days. I think about 48 hours left. So if you do want any more info on that, do head over to thesacrifice.io and you can jump into our Telegram channel, t.me/liquid loans if you have any questions. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Have a great Friday, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.